This is a screencast on hand tools for your wood project. And the hand tool project, after you cut your pieces to size and to shape, the very next step is to sand and finish your project pieces. So paint covers the wood surface, and paint is one of the main finishes that is used in the school shop. There are different types of paint based on your project. So exterior paint is designed for protecting the wood from weather. So if you were to paint a birdhouse, you might want to use an exterior paint, where interior paint is designed more for decorating. Okay, the second main finish that people use for their hand tool project is wood stain. Now, wood paint covers the wood surface, where wood stain soaks into the wood grain. And wood stain comes in different shades of wood color. And you can still see the grain of the wood through the wood stain if done with a light enough shade of stain. And then you can also combine stain and paint. So you can stain your project pieces first and then paint designs over the top of that to highlight or accent a different part of the project. You also have wood burning. Wood burning is not to protect the wood. It's more like painting a design onto a project. So wood burning has become very popular over the past couple of years, and a lot of students like the way the wood burning looks. So I've added this to the presentation. And here's a quick video on how to do wood burning.
Create beautiful projects like these with just one simple tool. If you remember wood burning as something from summer camp, it might be time to take a second look. This is a great little kit you can pick up at Lowe's. It comes with a good selection of tips to get different effects, and you can use it on a lot of materials: cork, leather, suede, and of course, wood. Before you jump right in, take the tool for a test run. That way you can kind of get the feel of the tool and the tips. See how your material will react to different pressures, all that good stuff. Here are some basic pointers I picked up trying out the tool. The tool heats up almost immediately, so put your first tip on before you plug it in. Slow and steady wins the race here. It isn't a fast technique, so take your time. Apply even pressure as you go, and the longer you leave your tool in one place, the deeper and darker the burn will be. Burning with the grain will provide the least resistance to the tool. Burning against the grain, more resistance. You can pencil on a design to follow, or even transfer a design from graphite or carbon paper. Or if you're comfortable freehanding, go crazy. It's a fun tool to play around with. As you're working along, you may reach a point where you feel the tool isn't burning as well. Try rubbing the tip over a sanding block to get rid of any buildup debris. And while burning into a material seems awfully permanent, if you make a mistake when you're working on wood, you can always sand it out. When you want to change out a tip, remember this tool is hot, so use a pair of pliers and put the tip on a scrap of granite or leftover tile. It's also a good resting surface for the tool and the tips while you work. So get inspired by our ideas or come up with your own and have fun trying out this tool.
Now, the one safety thing that wasn't mentioned with the wood burner that we also have to be careful of when using a wood burner in the shop is where you place the tool and where the wire, the power cord is. You don't want the tip of the tool to melt away any of the protective insulating part of the power wire for the wood burner itself. So you have to be really careful about that and where the wire is. Okay, so with painting and staining, I also have two short little videos. One is on staining tips and the other is on painting tips. And let's take a look.
The trim work on any project can really make or break it on how it's really going to look. And today I'm with Amber from Par Lumber, and she's going to show us how to stain the trim.
Yeah, exactly. So when you purchase wood molding or trim or even doors, cabinets, anything like that, there are steps you can take to make sure you get the best look for your wood.
Okay.
So first step on your wood molding is going to be to sand it. The 220 grit, which when the sanding numbers get higher, that typically means that the grit gets finer.
Okay.
So we don't want to be tearing up the grain of the wood. We just kind of want to smooth it out and make it more consistent. So I'll let you sand away.
And any tips when you're sanding?
With the wood, make sure to go with the grain.
Okay.
So go with the grain of the wood. That's just going to show through when you start staining. It's going to help that you don't have a lot of lines going on.
Okay. So Amber, I think I'm done. How'd I do?
Oh, it looks beautiful. Now, just if you rub your hands over it and you don't feel any rough patches, you should be good.
Okay.
So the next step we're going to need to do is there's a tack cloth right there. And what a tack cloth is, you'll notice, is it's a really gummy, sticky product. And you can actually unfold it also if you notice it's not sticky any longer. If
Okay.
it's still sticky, you're good to go.
So it's not a one-shot deal.
No. And most projects, you're not dealing with a 4-foot section of molding. It's usually, a whole room worth, so it'll last you quite a while.
So it takes all the little fine dust particles off really well.
The dust you wouldn't even feel or see, it's
Yeah.
going to get all of that.
Okay.
And that's going to be critical, again, when we stain and when we do things like that. You want it to be, nice, clean, dust-free wood. So
Okay.
that's what the tack cloth's going to give you.
And what's our next step?
So the next step we're going to do, and this is kind of the step I think gets left behind, is a pre-stain treatment, or in this case, the wood conditioner.
Never heard of a wood conditioner. Never used it.
Yeah, so what a wood conditioner is going to do is it's going to close those pores that were opened in the wood from just being cut, basically. And the way you want to apply it is just a nice even coat, just like you would apply your stain. You can do this with a brush or with a rag. And what the goal of doing this wood conditioner is if you ever have had molding that you've stained that has come out blotchy or inconsistent in color,
that.
this is going to reduce that, exactly. So what this is doing right now is we are basically leveling the playing field across this entire board, all the different grains, all those rough patches maybe that we didn't even see that are still on there. This should help kind of smooth that out and make it more consistent.
Okay, so we let that dry a little bit and then we move on to our next step?
Yep, 5 to 15 minutes and we'll be good to go.
All right.
So now we've wiped off the excess wood conditioner. It's been about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is apply that first coat of stain. And you just want to apply a nice, nice thin, even layer.
Not a heavy coat.
Not a heavy coat. And then, in the direction of the wood grain, and we'll just kind of let that set then for, another 5 to 15 minutes, and you'll come back and wipe off the excess of that. And then about every 4 to 6 hours, you can come back and recoat until you get the color you want.
Okay.
You put it on a little heavier than that, and then you'll start to see it kind of take the color into the grain there.
Okay. And then like you said, then we just let this set up a little bit, come back to wipe. Does that look all right now? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now you have some examples behind us to kind of show us.
I do. So
good reason to do this.
Exactly. She kind of walks through the steps of why we do that prep step, and then kind of what happens. So this is that raw material you started with. In this case, this is a hemlock board. This is after that first coat of stain has dried and you've wiped off the excess. This board here on the end is going to kind of show what had happened had we not sanded, not done the preconditioning, and just gone right to the stain.
I've seen that at my house before.
If you like the look, you like the look. But it just kind of shows you that extra step, can get you a more consistent look.
A lot. And then you do have some finishes if you want to put it on.
Exactly. And there's finishes out there that can give you a nice semi-gloss sheen or a high gloss sheen, whatever appeals to you and your interior. So.
All right. Great. Thanks very much for sharing these tips. And if you need help or you need supplies, come on down to Par Lumber.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Amber.
you.
Okay, and here's a short video on painting basics. Okay, so first, there was a common theme in the last slide with the staining and painting. So the first step is to sand your pieces and then to wipe that dust off. And just keep in mind that where your project's going to go should kind of determine what color or finish you should use, paint or stain. So you might be putting it in your room, or maybe it's a project for the kitchen table, or maybe it's a project for a younger brother or sister's room. Try to match your finish and design to the room it will be in. Also, don't be limited to what you can draw. We can print and trace designs right onto wood so that you can wood burn or paint inside lines to paint your design the way you want it to look. And then lastly, finishing is completed in steps over the course of several class periods. So sanding, wiping, pre-finishing, finishing, sealing, and then repeating as necessary is usually done within at least 2 to 3 class periods. So don't think that you're going to get everything done all in one period. And if you're painting, you need to paint your background color first. And then any design you're painting on top of that, you would wait for the background color paint to dry and then go back and paint on top of that. Okay? Well, thank you for watching.